Hello and welcome to episode 47 of the Naked Eye podcast. This is Nathan Oxenfeld coming to you today in December 2020. I'm really excited about today's episode, with it being the last one of the year 2020. A lot of unexpected things came up this year, and I'm really happy to round out the year by announcing this new project that's being organized by today's guest, Gabrielle Buresch-Teichmann, who's based in Vienna, Austria. And she's organizing the Color Lights World project, which is officially kicking off in January and going throughout the whole year of 2021 with monthly webinars or Zoominars. But this month, there's going to be some free gifts. So over 2 Saturdays, December 12th and December 19th, there's going to be some free webinars or Zoominars where you actually get introduced to all 11 of these worldwide experts in the field of light and color. So not only will you receive bountiful gifts by attending these free classes, but you're also essentially going to get a little bit of a preview or a taste of each practitioner and what they're going to be teaching in more depth in the upcoming year in their monthly webinar. And I'm extremely honored to be one of those 11 people being involved in this project. So I'm going to be one of the teachers featured on Saturday, December 19th, but there's going to be more teachers to meet the week before that, December 12th. So I definitely want to invite you to attend both of these free events the next couple Saturdays, and even consider maybe attending one of the more filled out, in-depth classes in the year to come. And my class I'm going to be teaching is in February 2021. Right now it's scheduled for Tuesday, February 23rd. But all this information is going to be found on the website, and I'm going to create a link to the main website from my website. If you go to integraleyesight.com/colorlightsworld, that'll be a good place for you to get all this information for this month and moving forward as well. But before we get ahead of ourselves into really exploring all of these other practitioners' offerings of light and color, I wanted to introduce you to the founder today, Gabrielle. She and I met at last year's International Light Association conference in Croatia. And since she was the president, she was kind of busy at the time of organizing these 100 plus attendees at this conference over a period of a few days in Pula, in this busy city. And so I became aware of Gabrielle, but we didn't really have a chance to really connect. And so after the conference, I was really getting excited about getting more involved in this International Light Association. I even did a little conference recap episode, one of the previous episodes of the Naked Eye podcast. So if you want to even learn more about what I experienced last year at the Light conference about light and color for your health and well-being, you can always go back to the archive and find that. But I was super excited to attend the next Light conference in person, which was, I think, scheduled for Italy. But then the pandemic came and the world changed. And so Gabrielle kind of took some initiative of seeing, okay, the world is changing. The world needs this light and color now more than ever. And I can't see people in person. I can't do my color therapy with people live. So instead, I'm going to create this online version of it to create connections with people worldwide. And so she's assembled this, superhero team in a sense to come together and really share this stuff with the world. And so I'm really excited for you to learn more about Gabrielle, who she is, the work that she does with color consulting and interior design and light therapy and color therapy and the different tools she incorporates and the different things that this stuff can help with. And she's just a very light-filled, colorful person. And so I'm really excited for you to get to know her. And I really enjoyed my conversation with her. We get a little bit of information about how she got into this work, what a typical day in the life of a color consultant looks like, and some of the people that she works with, the different color therapy tools that she uses. So we discussed some of those specifics. And then the conversation kind of goes into a deeper direction, into a little bit more of a philosophical interpretation of light and color as well. So we have a really cool conversation, and I'm really excited to get involved in this new group that we're getting off the ground. So once again, go to integraleyesight.com/colorlightsworld to get information about the free events on December 12th and December 19th of 2020. And then beyond into the whole next year, 2021, each month there's going to be a new topic, a new expert in the field of light therapy, color therapy. These are really exciting fields to be a part of and associated with because it's powerful stuff and it's kind of cutting edge as well, even though some of these therapies have been around for quite some time. Maybe that might remind you of something like Dr. Bates and the Bates method. It's been around for 100 years, but it's hopefully now starting to, gain some traction even more so. So what I'm really excited about is the overlap between the Bates method, the natural vision improvement work that is my specialty, and the color therapy and the light therapy, and finding where the bridges are, where the overlaps are, and the connections, the similarities. A lot of cool things to explore. And as we prepare to wrap up this year, I do want to let you know that starting also early next year in January, I'll be beginning my next 6-month vision improvement group. So in addition to this exciting Color Lights World project getting off the ground in January, technically this month, December, with the free offerings, the free gifts. But if you're also feeling ready to kind of dive specifically into the Bates method and the vision training process, you may want to head over to integraleyesight.com/6month, the number 6 and the word month, to get some information about that next group that's starting up in the beginning of 2021. But for now, I invite you to enjoy my bright and colorful conversation with Gabrielle Buresch-Teichmann. Hello, Gabrielle. Welcome to the Naked Eye podcast. I'm really, really happy to have you here.
Hi, lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We met last year in Pula, Croatia at the International Light Association conference. You were organizing that and kind of running the show in a sense. And not only was that my first introduction to you, but also to the organization and really the world of light and color therapy. And so I know that's really kind of your specialty is as a color consultant and, light and color therapist and things like this. So maybe a good starting point. Oh, and I was really honored when I got your email earlier this year, because we didn't really fully get to connect at the conference since you had your hands full, letting me know about this new project you're getting going called Color Lights World, and really honored to be a part of it and really excited to get to learn more about that from you today as well and share it with people too. But before we get into that, do you want to just take a moment to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about what you do?
Yeah. Well, my name is Gabrielle Buresch-Teichmann, and color and light are my passion and my calling since many, many years. So I've been working more than 30 years as a holistic color consultant in Austria, in Vienna, Austria. I've been one of the pioneers in this field in Austria, and I've been a consultant for companies and also for individuals regarding color psychology, the effects and impacts of color and color harmony. And this first passion brought me after 4 years to do intense studies in color light therapy. I started off in the UK, in England. Mm-hmm. So since 27 years, I'm also working as a color light therapist. And I've also been a pioneer on this field in Austria, in Vienna. I expanded then my work to a more international level. And I've also been working 5 years with the International Light Association. That's an international group of color and light experts. And I've also been president of the association for the last 2 years. So I'm very fascinated about the multitude of effects of color and light, as you can see. Yeah.
As am I. I got into the color and light world through the Bates method and natural vision improvement, and really starting to really form a new relationship with light. I don't really think I had one before, but Specifically with the Bates method, it has a lot to do with natural light and sunlight and conditioning the eye to be able to handle really bright illumination. And so that was kind of my introduction to what we can use light for or accomplish some pretty profound changes and healings and stuff like that. So what kind of led you? You said you were called into the color world. So like, was there a particular thing or a personal experience that kind of led you into that?
Well, many years ago, I was searching for something that fulfills me. And first, I did studies in business administration, but I noticed I didn't feel called to be a businesswoman like that. And so by chance, I did my first training as a color consultant in the US.
Mm.
And I started off working as a color consultant in Vienna at a time more than 30 years ago where color consulting was completely unknown. So you can say it was by chance or by coincidence that I kind of jumped into the color world. But I can also say I've been living as a kid, between the age of 9 to 13 in Mexico City. And the Mexico is known as a very colorful place. And I guess this has had a very strong influence on my love and interest for colors. And I'm also very interested in art and in painting. And I'm also painting. So I would say, life led me to this way, and I'm very thankful for it that I also dared to take this step about 30 years ago now to be self-employed on this field, because of course being self-employed is not always easy. And so it started off with color, and actually the color brought me into light because of course they are completely related, or kind of color is part of light, but this was my path. So I then got very interested into light and became a light therapist. And I also got acquainted and studied, the light therapy of syntonics a little bit. And I've been working for more than 15 years with the spectral receptivity system of Dr. Jacob Lieberman, who is also working on the field of vision therapy and consciousness and so on. So this is kind of our common ground we are having.
Yeah. His book was one of the very first ones I read about the natural vision work and the Take Off Your Glasses and See book. And then I was so enthralled by that I was looking up his other works, and that led me to Light, Medicine of the Future, and now the new Luminous Life book and all that. So he's definitely a good link there between us. And there's just so many things in common, not only like you said with light and color being so linked there, but also adding in the vision component, because that's really what vision is the receiving of light into the human body through the eyes. And also what I loved about the conference in Pula was also the effect of light and color on the skin and different parts of the body as well, not just through the eyes. But I'm really excited to be continuing to explore these overlaps with you and what we do. And maybe could you give an example or of, maybe if you're working with someone, or what sort of experiences you might guide them through, or like a typical day or in your office?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I receive a client at the beginning of the session, I used to work with a color spine chart test, because you can say that all our spines do have a specific color. And what I'm doing is, and every vertebrae of our spine has a specific range of meanings and also correlated areas of the body. Mm-hmm. And what I do is I do an energetic testing of the vertebrae of the spine, and this gives an actual picture of how is the energy flow within the person. and this is expressed in the colors of the vertebrae. That means that this gives an actual imprint of how the person feels, which topics or issues she might deal with, and which areas of life she's well or maybe struggling or having some blockages. And this is the beginning of the session. And the advantage is the client doesn't have to tell me what's really going on for a long time, maybe. And as we know, sometimes some clients don't want to address touchy things. So by that test, I can see what's going on. And then I talk with the client about what are the actual things that are kind of in movement within the client. And then this test shows which color is needed most. And then I use mostly the monochrome color dome. That's a color dome like a helmet that you can put over your head. Mm-hmm. And this has been created by Karl Reiberg from Sweden. And then the client takes in the colors that are most needed for a longer time. The color has a chance to surf through the rainbow because the client is going to see all the colors. It's an immersive experience because under the helmet, the client is only going to see all the colors of the rainbow. Mm-hmm. And the most needed colors, the client is going to take in longer for a longer time. And this brings, of course, energy and a change and transformation. So it's a very intense kind of light because it's known as monochromatic light. Mm. So it's really can be compared with the rainbow, with the real rainbow in its pureness. So it's very intense and it's only done for 10 minutes.
Right.
And this session you repeat once per week, yeah. And clients who come to me, I'm working a little bit like a psychotherapist. So I've quite often clients who just are in a change or transformational state, or are having some issues with their life, but I'm also working with SAD, Seasonal Affective Disorder. I have a lot of success with clients with that. Depression, light therapy and color light therapy is excellent for boosting the immune system. That's really amazing. And I'm also working with a second method I already mentioned. That's the instrument of Jacob Lieberman. And so this is like a projector where you look into the light, sitting in a dark room. And this is more like an experience where you get all the colors. And this has quite some effect on the consciousness and the vision. Mm. So I had some experiences with enhancing the vision, but this quite related with some kind of psychological things going on, and the client that can succeed in letting go of some blockages or some burdens of the past. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's one session, and the client comes back once per week, and it's a very transformational work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm not so much working with people with illnesses or with sick people. Mm-hmm. I'm working with people who have who more like a psychotherapist. But I can say I have an amazing results with depression, seasonal affective disorder, and also boosting the immune system. My experience is when people do light therapy or color light therapy, in the fall, before the beginning of the winter, they don't get sick in winter.
Nice.
Because the immune system is so much activated. Yeah. And that's an amazing effect I also know from myself, because of course I'm always applying the things I recommend to my clients to myself.
Right.
Yeah. So that's one example, but with the Lieberman method, I used to work also in groups. That's a little bit less now,
Mhm.
where the group can experience the light together, and then after experiencing the light, they can give a feedback how they were feeling and what they were perceiving and seeing. So yeah, that's another way of working. And I'm completely amazed since many years what light can do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's underutilized, I feel like, and not a ton of people know the possibilities here. So I'm excited for people to think more about it. Jacob Lieberman's device, you said it includes all the colors. Is it like a white light that includes them all, or does it kind of rotate through like the helmet does? Or
Yeah, it rotates the colors. Yeah, it's like a projector with a small opening through which the light is projected, and it's rotating from red to violet and magenta at the other end. Yeah, so in summer it's 20 colors. And there I'm a little bit, on the edge, I think, of your field, because this has to do a lot with perception.
Mhm.
Because with this method, the people are only looking at the colors, the small round light dots, and depending on how they feel or how they are at what point they are in their lives, yeah, they are likely to see some colors quite well and others maybe not, or only partly.
Mhm.
And this always has to say something about themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't perceive a certain color uh, as full color, maybe only like a moon form, or you don't see it at all, what also can happen, that means that behind this color, there's some kind of an emotional stress, yeah,
Mhm.
that the person has experienced in the past. But if you look more often at this color, this brings back this energy that has been kind of set apart because the energy was stressed. Yeah. So, and this has to do with seeing. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's what I learned in this work is actually you don't see the world as the world is, you see the world as you are. Yeah,
Mhm.
and this has to do with seeing and perception, and you are of course the total the expert for that. But this has fascinated me a lot, because with this method I had results with improving the vision. Yeah, because when people get to the point that they can release stress, emotional stress or blockages, that can have these positive effects on the vision.
Absolutely. And it's so
Yeah.
amazing that that color can facilitate that, and I like how you pointed out it's a combination of almost like psychotherapy of helping people through like talk therapy in a sense, combining with the color therapy and to kind of smooth it out or to kind of bring up the most important things that need to be worked with. I think that's pretty powerful. And really this concept of like color deficiencies is really fascinating to me, of how people know that they have sometimes vitamin deficiencies or mineral deficiencies or certain hormone deficiencies or whatever, but we don't think about like, oh, I've got a purple deficiency and I need to look at more purple color or receive more purple color to balance myself out. That's not really what a lot of people think about, but it kind of sounds almost like what you're describing, of it's based on the spine chart and the different colors of the vertebrae and like what color you need for what purposes. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. And I mean, working so long with color, I mean, it's so amazing what it can do. And in general, I can say, there's a level where it's difficult to express what it does. Yeah, but it the potential of color and light is to bring the client or the person to land with herself, to bring her in contact with her self and with her soul. Yeah. And as I understand any kind of therapy, yeah, that's the aim of therapies. I mean, if you can really come to the point that the person gets a feeling for herself, who she really is, then then everything's possible, I think.
I agree. I totally agree. And just, taking that even a step into the vision realm of, I agree with you that really healing involves connecting with the self and becoming whole in that way. And if we want to heal our vision, I think that does have to do with not just connecting with your true nature or yourself, but really connecting with your true vision, which is what you see with no glasses or contacts. If people have vision problems and they use glasses and contacts, they're seeing a prescribed vision, an artificial vision that's not really
Yeah.
their vision.
Mm-hmm.
And so really when we take those off and we can actually see, even if it's blurry or messed up in some way, that is the true personal vision. And I think that even just putting glasses and contacts on is kind of denying that in a sense. And when we take them off, we have that opportunity to connect with it. There are some challenges along the way there. But yeah, that's a beautiful way to say it too, of really getting in touch with yourself and really finding that healing within. It's really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like I shared with my background with the Bates light therapy with the sunning practices, is that anything that you incorporate?
In Central Europe and in Austria, we have these long winters. And for example, now in November, we have these foggy Novembers, yeah, with no sun and everything's gray. And so I would say yes, what I always recommend to my clients, because that's not, really known or not general knowledge, that it's very important once a day to get out into the daylight. Yeah. I mean, it mustn't be the sun, because the sun doesn't shine in November quite often, yeah. But to get a certain amount of daylight per day between 11 or 1 p.m., it's the best time. Just to get our vitamin D reloaded, yeah. And because this is a very important measure to prevent seasonal affective disorder, yeah, and to kind of nourish our organism that is so dependent on light. Yeah. So by that way, I would say yes, natural light is important, and I always recommend it, especially in winter where there's a lack of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that clarification there on daylight, not just sunlight, especially in the cloudy places, and especially as we're getting ready for the winter in the northern hemisphere. And that is a common question I get a lot, is like, well, how am I supposed to do the sunning if the sun's not out? But even getting the daylight is still really, really beneficial.
Yeah, right. Yes.
What do you feel like about, because I know these colors are, like you said at the beginning, colors are part of light. So the color is the specific part of the spectrum, as opposed to going out in the sun to get the full spectrum. Sometimes I have seen some people say that if it's like an unbalanced spectrum, like the system responds differently compared to the full spectrum. But what you're describing sounds more kind of like therapeutic purposes for certain things, and actually getting really nice benefits from getting just red or yellow or one particular color. Or maybe it's a distinction with the monochrome colors too, if that sets it apart in a different way. So is that just referring to like standard light bulbs that maybe are like unbalanced and not really applying to more of these specific like syntonic or light therapy devices, for example?
Well, there are two things. The one thing is when you're speaking about white light, yes, the daylight, or the light we receive by our light bulbs, yes, and the white light has a natural, spectral curve like that, yeah. Spectral curve means within the white light, there's a natural range of colors that are part of this white light and form the white light. Yeah, and the ideal for that is daylight. And actually, with our illumination and light bulbs, the light bulb that came closest to daylight was the incandescent light bulb. Yeah, which we kind of banned. Yeah. So it's important when it's about lighting that you get a spectral portion that is closest to the normal daylight. Yeah. And in certain light bulbs, this is distorted, like LED used to be very distorted. So you have to watch out for that. How is the light bulb composed? And actually at home here, I'm still having these incandescent light bulbs that I've bought masses many years ago when they were kind of stopped to sell them.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing, but that's the colors that are part of the white light. And in color therapy, yes, you use specific colors of the light. Yeah, where you then can only see one color. And for example, in the monochromatic light that I'm using in this monochrome color dome of Carl Reiberg, the colors of the light are not mixed. They have every color has a very specific wavelength, and they are not produced through mixing. And that makes them very pure and very effective. That's why I'm taking, the rainbow, because if you look at the rainbow, it's very clear. Yeah, it has a clarity that is difficult to see somewhere else. Yeah, because they are so exactly defined. So in the color therapy, you are using these specific wavelengths of light expressed in a color that you apply in a certain situation more to the client. Yeah.
All right, so there's no ways to get incandescence anymore?
Oh yes, I sent you a link.
Oh yeah.
Actually, yes. You can still buy them. They have. I found for you. I sent you a link where you can still buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously there are enough people who know that this is kind of the best light. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not from the point of view of energy, but from the point of view of health. Mm-hmm. Yes. So there are still in Europe enough shops, also online shops, where you can buy them.
Mm-hmm. I think California and some other states are starting to do that here in the US as well, of kind of phasing out the incandescence. And it is a little unfortunate, just with what we just covered. But
Mm-hmm.
I know that one thing that's been driving you lately is, especially in light of the pandemic and everything, of really wanting to get this stuff out there more and utilize the tools of technology and the internet to connect with more people on this stuff. And so I wanted to give you a chance to share a little bit about the Color Lights World project. Explain a little bit about what we're doing this month in December and like leading up into 2021, because it's a very exciting project, and I think people are going to be interested in learning more about it.
Yeah, so I want to introduce the Color Lights World project that is kind of being launched last week. And the idea was, when in fall, August, September, I started to think about it, is, well, we are having this challenge of the COVID situation. And there's one thing that we can do that is completely independent of this COVID pandemic, is what we are doing now. We can communicate through Zoom. So I had the idea that actually right now, so many people are really challenged in many ways. Yeah, it's the moment in which color and light are needed more than ever. Yeah. So I believe, that people working with color and light in some ways, yeah, and there are many different ways, are more needed than ever to spread the color and lights, to bring hope, trust, beauty, healing, transformation, and to put some positive impacts, yes, to bring out some positive impacts and spread the light and color. Yeah. So that was the basic idea. And then I thought of, because as I mentioned, I've been working 5 years for the International Light Association. So I have the pleasure of knowing many international experts, and I thought of bringing together a group. So right now we are 11 international experts between California and Tokyo, and asking them to set up a Zoominar program that is going to start in January, and all 10 or 11 members of the group will run 1 or 2 Zoominars where they will offer an experiential Zoominar specifically for their own expertise. Yeah. But the idea is it's not going to be lectures. It's going to be something that our audience and our guests can experience, something that they get inspired and nourished from. Yeah. So, and that's the Zoominar starting in January, and we are launching all this activity with 2 lovely events now in December called Color Lights Gifts to the World. Meaning we are doing 2 Zoominars. In each Zoominar, we are 5 people, experts, members of this experts group, who will offer a light and color present for the holiday season, so that our guests can pick up their holiday season present to feed your soul, to lift your spirits, and to enlighten your season. And I'm very much looking forward to that. And you, Nathan, you are going to be part of the group on December 19th at 4:30 p.m. Central European Time. I think this is 10:30 your time, North Carolina time.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about that. I'm already we are already all spreading the news. And maybe I can also mention who these people are going to be, because it's really impressive, our group.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you could introduce us to the group.
Yes. So on December 12th at 2 p.m. Central European Time, we're going to be Samia Ilaria Di Donato, she's from Italy, Lien Portrita, she's from South Africa, Karl Reiberg from Sweden, Masako Shimizu and Hiro Takamahashi, they are from Japan, and myself. And so it's going to be a surprise. And the idea is that you really pick your presents. And on December 19th at 4:30 p.m. Central European Time, we are going to be you, Nathan. And you are the only one from the group who is a specialist and expert for the field of vision and light, vision and color and light. Then we have Rike Gotthjelp, she's from Denmark, Constance Hart, also from the US, Nishant Matthews from the US and from the Netherlands, and Pierre van Obergen from Belgium and France. And the idea is it's going to last about 1 to 1.5 hours. And myself, I'm very much looking forward to it, because, yeah, it's a energetic present to our guests.
Yeah, I mean, as you were describing it, I could feel, you talk about how it's nourishing the soul. I could feel my soul, or I could feel my heart, or something, just like getting really, really filled up and excited, like of the, even just the concept of like spreading the light, like even just that little phrase is just really, I don't know, it resonates with me a lot. But yeah, it's, this episode's probably going to come out the weekend before these. So So once again, it's the 12th and the 19th of December. I'll put the information on the show notes and everything, and links to your website and everything so people can, but those are going to be the webinars on Zoom. You just register, join the Zoom room, and then you actually get introduced to this amazing list of people from around the world and see what kind of gifts they want to share with you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it also kind of serves the purpose as well, I think, of helping you figure out, because starting in January with the more monthly classes, of like which presenters you're interested in learning more about or attending their class. And so it'd be sort of like a little sampler almost, and kind of see who these people are.
Yes, yeah.
Myself included, I'm really excited to learn from everybody else in the group, and like I said, to kind of continue to explore this overlap of what we have in common, and also where we're different too, because there's a lot more to learn. And my plan is to pretty much offer a class on some of the natural vision work and the vision improvement and experience, like you said, really emphasizing the experience of it, not just talking about it, but actually, guiding people through the practices, and with a special emphasis on some of the light and color themes as well. Are you going to be doing a Zoominar as well? Which month are you looking at?
Well, as I'm the organizer of the whole program, I'm the only one who didn't work out my own program yet, because I'm busy putting everything on the website. So my Zoominars are going to be 23rd of March and 30th of March, and I already have a title for my Zoominars. The name is Thinking Outside the Box. And I'm going to do some inspirational things with light and color. That's what I'm going to do here. What I wanted to add to you, Nathan, is what I also mentioned in one of our chats is, as it looks like, this new modality of doing Zoominars and meeting on Zoom, this is going to stay in our lives for a while, and I think it's going to stay forever, because actually it's a nice addition for our communication. But on the other hand, it's also challenging for the eyes. So I think it's very important that we are having an expert with us in our group who takes care of that.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be a big part of what I want to share in mine as well, is really mitigating the screen time and the blue light exposure and things like that, and some of my different little hacks, you could say, because I have to be on the computer all day for lessons and classes and stuff, and so I've found some ways to make it a lot easier on the eyes, and definitely want to. It's so important with the advancement of technology and just getting more and more behind the screens and stuff. So speaking of challenges, with this new climate of a lot of distance learning and Zoom stuff, is that presenting some challenges with your work, or with if it is more dependent on using a specific tool that maybe somebody doesn't have access to, working at a distance? Have you found some kind of ways to work around that a little bit?
Well, I feel we are all kind of challenged, because the world is in process of changing, and I guess the world is not going to be the same than it used to be before anymore. And that's why I'm also calling my Zoom in Thinking Outside the Box. Because I feel, I have to reinvent parts of my job and of my work, like I guess many of us are called to. Yes. So at the present, we here in Austria, we are under lockdown. Yeah. So I can't see clients right now, because we are under curfew. And even if I'm allowed to work and to go to my practice in Vienna, the people are not coming because they are afraid. Yeah. And they think they have to stay at home, etc. So So at the moment, I can't really do easily color light therapy because that's a modality that people love and are used to do in person, of course, yes. But I'm, in the process of finding out new ways. And it looks like, and I'm also convinced that some things are happening or can happen and are also working very well over the screen. Yeah. And myself, I didn't have my clients, I wasn't doing online courses or online sessions before the pandemic, not yet. So in this stage, it's difficult to kind of jump into the new modality right away. I noticed that people who were already doing that, they had no problems transitioning to doing it by Zoom. So yes, so that's an interesting question. And actually, I don't have the answer right now yet, but I hope it will come.
Well, yeah, and I think that your initiative with the Color Lights World Project is just one manifestation of that, of really, you know, with the downside of not working with people in person, but
Yeah.
giving you this time and space to launch this idea and organize people around the world and bring them together with this common purpose. And so, yeah, that's a beautiful example right there of getting creative and finding some other ways to share this work with people, because it's I agree with you that it's really important now, and really the intention of putting that positivity and that health and healing out into the world is important right now too.
Yeah, very much, yes.
Yeah, it's like
And I've been, because I've been, I had a chat today with Nishant Matthews. He's also American. He's also part of our group. Yeah. And what I find interesting about this place in time right now, on one hand, we are in Austria, we're speaking about the social distancing, meaning we have to keep this 1 or 2 meters distance. Yeah. Actually, it's more a physical distancing. So we are not allowed to meet our friends and to have physical closeness as we used to do with our friends and colleagues. But on the other hand, we're having the Zoom. And because of this physical distance, at the same time, there's some new kind of closeness that becomes possible because of the situation. And I find that very interesting.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of a new form of communication, and also realizing that, communication and colleagues and friends are important, although I can't see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to find that too, where I was supposed to do an in-person retreat earlier this May, and was really looking forward to gathering people together and having that magic happen when we have that group dynamic all together in the same space. Then the shutdown came, and I switched it to a virtual version, and I just wasn't sure if it was going to still have that same effect and impact and connection. And sure enough, people still, even though we were all in different places, felt this really sense of community, even though it was on the screen. So yeah, hopefully we can really continue to foster that with these webinars and Zoominars, and really create a place for people to come and connect in with those soul elements and these deeper things that might not make sense verbally or even logically, but sometimes on a feeling level or on a deeper subconscious level, you have some relationship or experience with color that can't really be explained. I like how you pointed that out earlier, how sometimes this stuff is not the easiest to kind of put into words or explain what the benefits or the effects are sometimes, because it reaches us on so many levels.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah, and there's one word, because I'm not an English speaker, but a long time ago I learned a wonderful word that expresses the potential of light and color. It's bliss.
Mm,
It's what happens when you come to this place where you were you feel yourself and are in deep contact with yourself or accept yourself. What I said before, kind of when the client comes to the point that the client feels himself or the soul, and that makes people very happy. But bliss is more than happiness.
Yeah. And another word for bliss is enlightenment. And
Yeah.
and I always loved that word enlightenment because, we know what it means in terms of like reaching nirvana or bliss or this, state of consciousness. But that word right in the middle of that, light, enlightenment is there's something to that. I love looking at the language and the words we use and how we understand this whole light thing. I love the way you speak about it too. It just puts me in a good place when I hear you talk about it. And it kind of reminded me of one day I was doing my sunning practice outside and I was just enjoying the light on my closed eyes and just swinging my head side to side. And I had this kind of feeling that I was like, actually, I wasn't just doing a practice or like sunning my eyes. I was actually like stepping into this like temple of light. It felt, because it was with the eyes closed, and maybe this is what people experience with the light, the helmet on too, of like you're in immersed in it, with especially when your eyes are closed. It just takes up your whole visual field and you're just surrounded by this light or color, and it felt like I was just stepping into this like place that is within, that but that the light connected me with and kind of activated within me. So everybody's probably got their own experience with it, but I don't know, that kind of stood out to me of like finding some more depth within the sunning practice and really contemplating really what the light is and what its purpose is.
That reminds me of another way maybe of expressing it, because I don't know, some famous physicists said we are materialized light.
Mm-hmm.
So we are kind of light in material light. And that's one experience similar that what you were describing is that it's this feeling because if you think that we are light, experiencing light as you described is like coming home. Yeah. And that's also this feeling.
Right. Yeah. The feeling of coming home or being where you're supposed to be, or sense of belonging or wholeness.
Right.
And doesn't Jacob Lieberman call that in his newest book like the frozen light? Like the physical matter is like it's like the material form of light or the frozen light, whereas the unfrozen light or the fluid light is the immaterial. It's an interesting way to think about our existence. It's just light, frozen or unfrozen light.
Yeah, right.
And I've heard that plenty of times before, like I'm a being of light or we are beings of light, and sometimes it gets sort of over your head in terms of like it's just a cliche or a little phrase or saying, but it's pretty profound when you really think about it and break it down and understand some of the truth in that statement.
Yeah, because we come then to the conclusion we are light and color.
Right. Literally. Yeah. And I think sometimes I personally can get a little bogged down when I forget that, or when I get sort of caught up in the more material things or the more, seemingly solid, heavier things. And another meaning of light isn't just the brightness or the phenomenon, but it's also like lightness and lack of weight. And so when I think of myself as a being of light, it's not just like the brightness aspect. It's also this like, oh, like I don't feel as much of like the gravity as much, like my sit up straighter. I feel lighter, feel more energized. And so hopefully something of our conversation today sparked a little reminder in people listening that the light is within them as well, and they can tap into it and connect in with it. And maybe something that they learn from the Color Lights World project will continue going in that direction of continuing to learn what all this stuff is and how it can really work for you.
Yes, hopefully. And yeah, very welcome, dear audience. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait to share this with people and let people know what we got going on in the next year. And like I said, we're going to, on Gabrielle's website, list of the presenters and kind of what they're going to be talking about if you're curious and you want to learn more, because it just reminded me of when I was looking at the lineup or the schedule for the light conference in Pula last year. I was just like, the farther down I went the list, I was just like drooling. I was just like, oh my gosh, this sounds so amazing. I can't wait to learn what these people have to share about this stuff, because it's not super common. There's not a lot of people out there, talking about this stuff. So really
Yeah.
excited to invite people in and learn about this stuff.
And experience it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate this opportunity to get to know you better personally as well, because like I said, we didn't get a chance to connect too much in Croatia in person, and it's been nice to Skype with you and Zoom with you, and then meet with you today,
right.
and get even more background into what your passions are and what's driving you to kind of get this project off the ground this year. So
Yes, I'm very happy about that. And we will see how it unfolds, and we will see what it will lead to, because I don't have a definite view on that. I just know that the whole project is amazing, and let's see what is going to happen.
sounds good to me. I'm on board, and hopefully listeners are too, to check some of this stuff out. So do you have anything you want to share if people like want to learn more about this, or want to share the website, or any easy way to get this info?
Well, I think you are going to post anyway the website where
Yeah.
you can find all the information. So you can register, please, to the December events also over the website. And you will receive then the Zoom link within 24 hours prior to the event. And yeah, the booking is already open also for the events of 2021, and everything. You find all the information and also the booking possibility over the website.
Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I'll make sure that link is easy to find and click and get this info. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to us as well and let us know
Yeah.
if you need any help. But yeah, I want to thank you again, Gabrielle, for speaking with me today. Really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to working together with you in 2021.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. It was really a pleasure chatting with you, and looking forward to everything that is coming with the Color Lights project and with our cooperation. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're very welcome. And I hope you have a wonderful night. Appreciate you staying up to chat with me today. And we'll see everybody in the next episode. Appreciate it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.